Hi, in this video we are going to switch into high resolution mode, which is really important to do once you're done with your garment, creating your garment, styling it, changing the pose of your avatar, and to switch into high resolution mode before we go to render an image or save a snapshot image if you want it to be higher quality and more realistic. You can always render or save a snapshot in low resolution mode, but switching into high resolution mode is going to give you a higher quality image and make your fabric and garment look more realistic too. So you're automatically going to be in low resolution mode. And to switch into high resolution mode, all we have to do is click this button right here. It's like a half shirt with kind of a grid inside of it and an arrow pointing up in our 3D toolbar. But before I click that, I'm going to show you kind of what high resolution mode means. And basically it's that all of our fabric pieces in CLO have a grid inside of them. And I'm just going to switch to this mesh view. That way we can see the grid that's currently inside of our fabric. So you'll see these little triangles making up our fabric. And right now they're a pretty big size. They're not super small, but each of these corners is creating a corner of the fabric. So the smaller that our grid is, the smaller the corners will be and the more smooth and curved our fabric will be able to lay. Because you can basically visualize our mesh or our particle distance as a frame that our fabric is laying on top of. So you can picture these triangles as the frame that our fabric is laying on top of. This is also called particle distance, basically measuring the distance between each kind of connecting point of fabric is one way to think of it. So this is basically what it looks like in low resolution mode. And I'm going to switch out of that view and then go into our high res garment button right here to switch into high resolution mode. And it will give you this pop-up menu here. You can adjust them more customized if you wanted, but this setting is usually fine. So I'm going to click OK. And you'll notice once it loads, when we're in high resolution mode, our render arrow is going to be red versus blue, and it's going to be a double arrow. So to automatically turn on simulation and get it to apply the high resolution mode, I'll either press our simulation button or press spacebar on my keyboard. And it will take just a second for it to load. And you'll see our simulation button here is red with that double arrow versus the blue one we normally have. But as it simulates, you'll see our garment does start to look more realistic. The details become a little bit more smooth. We can see more details in our fabric. And once it's done simulating, I'm just going to click spacebar to turn off simulation. And you'll only want to switch into high resolution mode once you're done adjusting your garment, because you will notice that the whole program does move a little bit slower when you're in high res mode. So you won't want to be simulating and pulling your garment around. You'll kind of want to do this step once you're pretty close to done styling and arranging your pieces. And now I'm going to switch back into the mesh mode just so we can see what the particle distance looks like now. And you'll see that the particle distance and mesh of our garment is much smaller now. So now the frame that our fabric is draped over has much less sharp corners, it's much smoother, and that's basically what switching into high resolution mode does. If I wanted to switch back to low resolution mode for some reason, I maybe wanted to adjust something or change something about my garment, I can always switch back into low res mode by holding down the high res garment button and then selecting low res garment. And then I could click OK, and that would switch me back into that.